Today's topic is posture in the golf swing, and we're going to talk about some important pieces that you need to keep in mind. These are actually things that you can work on at home, and I encourage you to work on them in the mirror because that'll make a huge difference, because sometimes what we see and what we are feeling are two completely different things. To find our posture, we're going to start with our feet. We want to be about shoulder width apart. And if we take a club and we measure from our insole, we want that club to point right at our hip. That shows us that's where our feet need to be. Next, let's talk about knee bend. We don't want to be completely flexed with our knees. That's going to make it hard to turn. We don't want to be too bent. That's going to make our upper body posture a lot harder to find. So we want to have just a slight bend in our knees. From that position, we can go ahead and take our hip bones and find the front of them and go ahead and push them back. You really want to feel the bottom of your booty sticking out. And then we really need to focus from that point on what our upper body looks like. So if we put our hands up top and spread them wide, we can have really good spine through our body. If we get into this type of posture, we call this C posture. And when we're in C posture, we've flattened our back, our lower back, and we have very limited mobility through our mid-back, through our thoracic spine. So trying to rotate in this position is very, very hard to do. Most golfers will have a tendency to get into more of an S posture, which is where instead of making a C, we make more of an S, and they really stick out this lower body. This is really overworking the bottom part of our back, our lower back, and that's going to cause us a lot of issues. That's going to give us some pain. That's going to give us some soreness after we're done playing our round. That is not a good way to play golf, and so many of us just kind of sit into our posture and stick our butts back by doing this, and that doesn't put us in the proper position to really support the front and the back of our body. So, if you have some lower back pain, or if lower back is something that you struggle with and you want to make sure that you're protecting your back as you're swinging, I've got a really, really good drill that you can do to work on that. So once you're in the mirror and you found your posture at home, shoulder width apart, little bend in our knees, find our hips, push them back, hands up top, spread them wide for really good spine, let your arms drop. Now we're going to find what we call neutral spine. So we're going to take our pelvis and we're going to pull it all the way under, all the way back, all the way under, all the way back, and we're going to find midway between. That is where we're engaging the front and the back of our body, and that's where we want to be in our golf posture. Finding neutral spine is really important if you've had injuries, or just if you're new to golf. You want to make sure that you're doing it right, because over time you don't want to create injuries or issues with your body. Last but not least, let's talk about position away from the golf club, because that's a very, very important thing. As we get into our posture and find that good posture, we want to have about a hand width of space between our club and our body. If we set up really far away from the golf ball, we're going to have a really hard time connecting our arms and body and keeping them together through the swing. If we get too close, it's going to be hard to really clear the hips and create some power. So, a good rule of thumb is about a hand width of space between the club and the body. This will differ a little bit from person to person, but that's just a really great starting point. And then from there, you should hit some balls, figure out where you're contacting it on the face, and find out exactly how far away you need to stand from the golf ball.